We demonstrated that here today when people stood up to give ask their questions or their comments, started saying, hi, I'm HIV positive for so-and-so, yeah. Hi, I'm HIV positive. That wasn't planned. Individuals just chose to do that. What may be effective, because I'm a firm believer if you're at that point that you want to do that, is to have our newly elected city council, the mayor, and just as this was done prior on some level, but I mean really have folks come out who are willing and who are HIV positive to stand up and say, hi, I'm HIV positive for X number of years, so that you really put a face, especially to those new council members.
Now we're in a new time. Everybody has to recognize we're in a new time when our voices are strong, you know? You talked about what can we do education-wise. My son's 15. I speak to his friends. You know, we look at YouTube and how these tools are used. If you want to get to the politicians, if a kitty cat on YouTube can get 1 million hits, then you can get your word out there and get 1 million hits. It's just that we have to evolve as the problem has evolved. So when we're in an age of communication, politicians are very good at changing the course of communication and kind of distracting us. Like you said, at one point, this was a big thing, and funds were being drawn, and all over the world it was an issue, and then something comes up to distract us. Housing, it's a big, big program. It's a big, big problem. You go out in the street, you see things that, why aren't any other people seeing what we see? It's that we get distracted, and we gotta kind of join all of our resources and kind of put it back in the face of the public. As I say, you know, use advocacy.
The situation was that he encountered a broker, and Haas only pays 50% of the broker fee. The broker informed him that he, as a client, has to come up with the other half of the broker fee and also pay an application fee as well, correct? So the issue with that is, the issue, I will recommend, personally, I will recommend finding another broker, right? The risk in reporting brokers is that when brokers get reported, that means they'll stop working with HASA clients, and then, so it's like a catch-22. You report the broker, right? The broker, I don't know what the reprimand process looked like with HASA, right? But then it also risks that broker backlash, right? That brokers will stop dealing with HASA clients, period, because the risk of, you know, clients reporting them. And that could spread, and that, so it's a risk. So what I would say was just don't work with the broker. Just find a new broker to work with who will take the 50%, right? So that's my recommendation for that piece.
I'm glad to hear that many of you are interested in maybe meeting with city council members or joining any advocacy efforts. I think being passionate is a good thing, and sharing your personal stories is powerful. I would encourage you all to also spend some time and think about the message that you wanted to convey. Not every legislators or policymakers respond to the passion like they used to 30 years ago. And that's an honest comment. And so there has to be multiple strategies employed sometimes on certain things, for example, the 30% rent cap bill. So I just want to caution and that find a place that you're comfortable and do what you with good intentions and do it with good heart. But do know then and do respect that if other people are talking about the same issue and maybe employing a different strategies, respect that where they're coming from. We have to talk about the HIV epidemic in a different way. Personal stories still very valid, and especially for people who have legislators like the 21 city council that we are not sure to what extent that they understand about those personal stories and the history of the epidemic, but that cannot be our only message. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And at some point, we will have to connect it to the facts, to the data, and at some point, we will have to ask a very difficult question. If there is money there, how much are we asking for? And how are we going to allocate and distribute the resources? And that would mean that we might need to step out of our comfort zone. We may not be the group that funded in the next round of RFA, but it will make sure that the money is going to where the communities are most needed.
We've heard a lot of good stuff, and we're not going to continue to. There's a lot of stuff that we can build on. Just 2 or 3 things that we can for the next steps. What can we do in 3 months? What can we do in 6 months? What can we do in a year? And we don't have to be experts. We have experts, we have the resources that we need to go to if we need the experts. If we need the numbers, we can call this person. That's about community collaboration, knowing who your partners are, where I can get the information from. But you can call your council member. You can leave a message for your council member. You can have that moment in the bodega with the person in the store. You can have the moment with your aunt or your uncle who says something silly. You can, if you're working, you can ask your job, can I do this? In addition to my 9 to 5, can I do this? I'm very blessed. My organization lets me do this. There's so many different ways to do things. There's a lot of advocacy organizations that can help you. You put your name on a list. It's a listserv. It's an automatic way to do it. So what can you do in the next 3 months? What can you do in the next 6 months? What can you do in the next year? If you got a new council member, reach out to that council member or get a hold of an organization that'll help you reach out to them.
I just wanted to say that one of the things that I recognize is that we as a brown, black, minority, majority, however you want to call it, people of color, we have to step up to the plate. It is now our turn. The past is the past. We know what the past can do, and we need to work on our future utilizing some of the tools that were used in the past. I think it's really important for us, if we really want to be in this fight in this moment, to work with Esther and Jason so that we all get on at least 1 or 2 pages that are similar in making requests. Because I think that's what the new council and the old council will probably hear more of than if we just go by ourselves. Although, if you go by yourself, be passionate. But if you can get with a group, get with a group. So, because, you know, sometimes the larger number can produce something that 1 or 2 individuals cannot produce.
I want to say thank you to everyone that attended. Thank you for all those, the very few that have remained from the beginning to the end. Very, very important. And Mr. Shorter just touched on it. And I'm not being racist, because some of my best friends are Caucasian, Asian, doesn't make a difference. But when it was a white gay male, they got together, they fought. They developed GMHC, which is the largest and continues to be the largest ASO in the country. They made the politicians listen. Now, this is your task, Latinos, African American, Caribbean American, Native American. You need to bring your politicians to task. The Republicans held us hostage over some junk. They furloughed people. People that work for the government were standing in pantry lines and begging each other for food and getting arrested for stealing a loaf of bread from 7-Eleven. You need to hold your brother, your sister, because in the long run, you are your brother and your sister's keeper. You need to hold them accountable. You need to learn the terminology of what is going on at the table, and you need to be at the table. If you're not at the table, do not call me and say, Dreddy, what happened and how come it? I don't want to hear it. I send a message out. These people here say, Jason sends me so many emails. He does his job, okay? You need to be at the table. You need to learn a little bit more. You need to fight for your life, okay? Because one day, this group of individuals here may not be around to fight for you. So you need to be in the fight. And if you're not in the fight, then I don't want to hear your complaints unless you're in that fight. So, giving all thanks and praise to your God and my God, that we stood in here in this church all day long and learned about a lot of different stuff, renewed knowledge, and learned what we can do to assist each other, and gave each other respect, and had just a wonderful time. I saw people I hadn't seen in a while, and I learned a couple of things, and that's a good thing. For each and every day, you should learn something. And I thank you very much, and on behalf of all of the pastors and all of the participants that planned this event, we thank you kindly. And you have a blessed and merciful journey to your home, and may your God bless your family members also. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.